Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Danganronpa. Last we left off, we were in the trash chute. We'll probably make it out this episode, but I'll just let you watch and find out. Without further ado, let's hop into this.
I...
My memory hadn't come back at that point. When he said that, I felt strange. It made perfect sense now, of course, since my whole purpose for coming here was to find him. That makes sense.
However...
But listen, Makoto, I wanted to make this perfectly clear, so there's no misunderstanding. I said the headmaster wasn't the mastermind, but I didn't say that to protect him. I only said what I felt based on what I had seen when I snuck into the headmaster's room. Then, what did you see there?
So...
The room had been ransacked, the shelves were a mess, the desk drawers dumped on the floor. The only conclusion is that someone who didn't know where anything was had been in there. You mean the mastermind, right?
It's true.
That was my assumption, yes, and to confirm my suspicion, I decided to investigate the second floor dorms using the key I found. But why there? Because I also found this in the headmaster's room. This is some kind of map?
Indeed.
A layout of the entirety of Hope's Peak Academy. I found it in the headmaster's room along with Mukuro's profile and the key. The map showed the second floor was home to a number of rooms meant for faculty use. Some of the staff must have had to stay overnight from time to time. So I figured the headmaster would have some kind of private room there. I assumed that if that were true, that room would likely hold more clues, so I went to check.
Correct.
And that's when I finally remembered. I remember that my purpose was to find the owner of that room. So you went there to see if the headmaster really did have a private room there.
However...
But once I got there, I noticed that the second floor of the dorms didn't have any cameras or monitors. So what, it was like that part of the school, I mean? It's hard to describe is all I can say. The moment I saw it, I realized whatever is going on in the school is more horrific than we ever imagined. What do you mean?
So...
Can't explain it. You need to see it for yourself. I'm sure you'll get your chance soon enough. Sounds like it must be important. And really ominous. Can we go now? I better talk to Kyoko.
However...
Of course, once I got to the second floor dorms, there was no cameras, no monitors. So it was like that part of the school. Hard to describe, so I can say the moment I saw it, realized.
So...
Okay, explain it, but you need soon enough. Sounds like important, really ominous. Okay, so...
However...
No monitors, which is why I had no idea what was going on in the rest of the building. I had to do it with Mukurasabi, doesn't it?
However...
Just to be perfectly clear, I didn't kill her. And I know it wasn't you either. I know you're right, but that just means everyone but you and me had an alibi. So then who did kill her? What I can say for sure is that the mastermind is directly involved. To begin with, the point of the class trial of Mukuro Sabi was to get me killed. Get you killed?
Indeed.
I stole that key and disappeared, and in retaliation they wanted to draw me out and eliminate me.
Correct.
That was the point of the class trial. It was? The mastermind knew they couldn't interfere directly. You mean because of the school regulations?
That's right.
Exactly. The minimal restrictions, you are free to explore Hope's Peak Academy at your discretion.
In other words...
The mastermind is adamant about following the rules, and with that rule in place, they couldn't step in. Since they couldn't kill me themselves, they tried to use the class trial to do it. The mastermind couldn't step in because of the rules. That makes it sound like the mastermind themselves is someone who is bound by the school regulations.
Hey.
There's one other thing that I'd like to point out about the murder of Mukuro Ikesabi. What's that? There was a point where Mukuro may not have become the victim. It could have been you, Makoto. I could have become the victim.
Indeed.
You know what I'm talking about, right? You mean the thing we flash back to a million times, yes. I can hear them, you know. The footsteps of the god of death. What? I can hear the god of death as he moves. The ability naturally draws me into cases just like this.
Anyway...
Which is exactly what happened with you. It was in the dorms, and I had a sudden sense of dread and looked down the stairwell. I saw a white shadow cross the corridor. I gave chase right away. As I followed it, I saw the shadow go into your room.
Correct.
I ran into your room and saw what was happening. I intervened immediately, of course.
However...
That wasn't the end of things, of course. I stopped them, but that led to Whoever the masked assailant was, they ended up dead.
Correct.
And their murder was disguised in the dojo key found up in my room. It all has to be the work of the mastermind in an attempt to use class trial to eliminate me. So all this would mean that whoever killed Murkrow is also the mastermind, right?
Indeed.
I don't have conclusive evidence, but that's what I think. But that's really bad if it's true. I mean, the mastermind can kill whoever they want if they really feel like it. Wait, but doesn't that create another contradiction? The mastermind wanted to use the class trial to try and kill you because they couldn't interfere, right?
Correct.
You're right, that is a contradiction. And it's not just Murkrow. They need the class trial to kill me, but it seemed ready to kill you in your room. Everything they did is a contradiction. So, what does that all mean?
In other words,
That means that the mastermind is the one who's been cornered. Huh?
Makoto.
Just a little more, and I should be able to figure out the mastermind's identity. The identity of the other ultimate despair. The other ultimate despair. There's no doubt that Murkrow was the ultimate despair, that she's dead. But I don't think the ultimate despair is just one person. It's not?
Indeed.
If you think about it, the ultimate despair seems to implicate whoever caused that event. You're talking
That's
about
right.
what happened a year ago, the biggest moment, a tragic event in human history. The tragedy, whoever's responsible for that, they're the ultimate
It would
despair.
seem...
That despicable group whose only purpose and motivation comes from despair. Then they're,
Indeed.
make no mistake, they're the root of all evil that has forced us to go through this. That is the ultimate despair. And that is our real enemy. 100-mile dash, pain and junk food junkie. Pain of a junk food junkie. The ultimate despair. A group of people who caused the tragedy 1 year ago. The same people who put together this killing game and began broadcasting it around the world. The most desperately awful group of people ever. That is the mastermind's true identity. Our enemy has finally been revealed. But right now
Anyway,
we have to get out of this horrible place. Figure out the rest of the story can come after. Yeah, you're right. Rattle, rattle, rattle. It's locked, but we have a way to open this door. Yoko, do you still have that one thing? What kind of a secret tool you got from the headmaster's room?
indeed.
Of course I do. It's an absolute vital part of ensnaring the mastermind. I would never part with it. And it can open any door in the school, right?
That's right.
Then we should be able to use it on that door, right? Hey Kyoko, can we use that key of yours to open this door, right?
It's true.
Let's find out. Kyoko took the key with the Monokuma design on it and slid it into the keyhole. And then, click! Yes, it opened.
Indeed.
And now we can get out of here. Let's go. Sounds good. We quickly opened the door and made our escape from the garbage pit. Finally. We are finally free. But there wasn't even time to take a breath of relief. Because the real fight had just begun. Ultimate pain. The ultimate suffering, ultimate despair, ultimate... If it would let me read. Ugh. I need to remember to get water next time I hit stop. I don't know if I told you all this before, but I sit here and record... let's see here. What time did I start? We're going on hour 5 of recording, and I just sit here. 5 hours of reading. After leaving the garbage pit, we found ourselves in a tunnel extending straight up like a chimney. There was a metal ladder leading into the tunnel. We started climbing the ladder, intent on reaching the surface. The ladder was impossibly long. I couldn't even see where it ended. We climbed into the darkness. The passage was so dark and cramped I couldn't even see my own feet beneath me. I had no idea we were so far down. Don't lose your footing. If you slip, I won't be able to catch you. Yeah, I'll be careful. But now that you said that, I'm getting kind of nervous. Maybe talking will help keep my mind off of it. So Kyoko, there's something I wanted to ask you. You said the ultimate detective, right? So how long have you been doing detective work? How long?
So,
Ever since I can remember. I come from a long line of detectives. Detective work is in my blood. Can I just say that anime, manga, whatever. They love their upskirt shots. They just it, they do. And I gotta say, marvelous. There was a time when being a detective was considered a sacred duty. My family's always been that way. Then is your family famous?
wrong.
Quite the opposite, actually. Even among actual detectives, many people haven't heard of us. Huh, but how come it's like your family's tradition, right?
Right.
So? Because we take pride in it. Pride?
Indeed.
Detective is neither light nor shadow. We represent neither justice nor evil. That is how we uncover the absolute truth. We stand neutral in all things. And to do that, we have to stand separate from the rest of society, which is why we've made a conscious effort to conceal our existence. A conscious
It's
effort.
true.
It's kind of old-fashioned. I can't say it's entirely rational, but it's our family creed, and we will do what we must to protect it. Because, like I said, it's our source of pride. Pride. So that explains. Before I came here, when I was looking up information about the school online, I never saw anything about her. Ugh, because she hid herself on purpose to protect the pride of her family.
However,
And yet, I gave up some of that pride. Huh? In order to enter Hope's Peak, I had to reveal myself to the school. I didn't know it was something a true Kirigiri detective never would do. But the reason you gave up that pride, the reason you would go so far to enter Hope's Peak, was because that's how much you wanted to reconnect with your dad, right? There's no shame in that.
what?
Reconnect. I had absolutely no desire to reconnect with my father, huh? But you'd be reuniting after all those years, right? You've had so much to talk about.
Wrong.
There's nothing I want to talk to my father about.
However,
There is something I want to say to him, though. What? No matter what it takes, I have to find him and tell him face to face. What is it?
So,
I want to sever all ties with him. Sever. The last time I saw him was still very young. So I don't remember myself, but apparently he was extremely intelligent. He was in line to become the next head of the Kirigiri family. He was talented and promising
however,
future. But he had no interest in detective work. So he cut himself off from the family. Not long after that, my mother died and he simply ran away. He went to my grandfather and they had a huge argument, and young as I was, he left me behind. And I'm sure there was a reason for that. You sure your dad wanted to take you with him?
right.
If that's true, then I need to thank him. Thank him for leaving me. Because unlike him, I take pride in the work I do. I take pride in my family name. So every last part of me is happy he didn't take me with him. If I'd gone with him, I never would have had the chance to become a detective. I was above Kyoko on the ladder, so I wasn't able to see her expression, so I couldn't tell. I couldn't see how she looked when she said that, what she might have been feeling. All I could tell was that, compared to her usual self, she was more talkative and more emotional. I don't blame him, you know. He had his own life to live. That's what anyone in my position might say, right? But it's not true.
However,
But there's one thing that I can never forgive. Really?
so,
The way everybody else looked at me. I was never sad about being left behind. Like I said, I think it was a good thing.
however,
But the rest of my family looked at me and they saw something different. They only saw me as a little girl that was abandoned by her father. That's how they see me even to this day. His shadow has been following me his entire life. I'm sick of it. I need him out of my life. I need to step out of his shadow.
correct.
That's why I have to find him and tell him we're no longer family, in order to settle the past, in order to remove him from my life forever. I have no doubt he forgot about me years ago. Your family, to just cut him out like that?
Wrong.
Our only connection is through blood, nothing more. We are connected by heart and soul, no? Are we connected by heart and soul?
Hey.
No. Is blood really enough to call someone family? Only connected by blood, not by heart or soul. I was so shocked to hear her say something like that. I didn't know how to respond. So instead, I said nothing. I just kept climbing the ladder in complete silence. After I don't know how long, we finally reached the top. Yeah. Looks like this is
Indeed.
it. On the other side of this door, Host Peak is waiting for us. We're back.
That's right.
Remember that hatch on the ground near the trash room? I'm fairly certain that this is where we'll come out. I unlocked it earlier, so it should be open without much trouble. Well, here goes nothing. I reached my right hand up and pushed against the hatch. The hatch opened with ease, and so... Looks like we're back. But I can't believe how long that ladder was. I'm exhausted. I can't exactly say we're safe and sound, but at least we're out of there. Now we're back in Host Peak Academy. Kyoko, thank you. I never would have gotten out of there without you. No thanks necessary. I was just returning the favor. That's how we got out of the garbage pit. I never would have imagined where this led. Okay, but can I just say, girl, so obviously Makoto went up first, but I have to think Makoto probably maybe decided, oh, I want to go first, but more likely in my head, Kyoko was like, no, I'm in a skirt, you go first, I'll be right behind you. You know, as it should be. So now, what do we do? I'm glad I didn't die, of course, but if the mastermind finds out, I'm worried about you too. You helped me, so they might...
Listen.
You're worried? Yeah, of course.
So then...
Then let's just get a concrete answer, huh?
In other words...
Let's ask Monokuma if there's a problem with you escaping. Wait, that's...
However...
We try to hide. It's only a matter of time till we're found out. It's not like we can run away. As she said that, she pointed at the nearby surveillance camera. So you're saying rather than stress out over getting caught, we should just give up now? Don't worry. What you think is going to happen isn't.
Because
the mastermind is the one that's ensnared. Mastermind is ensnared? You said something like that before. What does it mean?
So...
The mastermind stood exposed during the investigation during Makura's death. There was a moment where the mastermind let their guard down. There was?
Right.
If we can talk to Monokuma, we can confirm it. And it'll be better for us if we go to him directly before he tracks us down. That should help with our negotiations. I'm still a little, super uneasy about this. But we don't really have a choice, do we?
Indeed.
Monokuma should be in the gym.
Shall we go?
Let's get going. Yes. I doubt we'll run into anybody. It's nighttime.
Well now.
Hey. Kyoko, I don't mind so much.
I don't believe it!
But Makoto's supposed to be dead. What's he doing here? That's exactly how I thought he'd react. Are we really going to be okay?
Pung!
You're supposed to be punished. Did Kyoko help you?
What?
So what if I did? What will you do?
Shing!
If the guilty party is exposed during the class trial, they alone will be executed. It's unfortunate, but that is the rule. Now I gotta punish you
Making
again.
me angry!
And this time, I won't leave anything to chance. Kyoko,
Right.
do whatever you feel you have to. What?
However...
But before you do, just let me say one thing.
Now,
If you execute Makoto, that means you lose. Not that that matters to you, right?
Huh?
Huh? I lose?
Hey!
You, explain yourself. What do you mean by that?
Because...
Well, you set up this latest class trial yourself, right? I was getting in your way, so you wanted to execute an excuse to kill me.
In other words...
I was supposed to be chosen as the Blackened and then executed, right? Hey, what are you talking about?
However...
But when Makoto chose to overlook my lie, your plan came crashing down. The rest of the trials weren't at all what you were expecting, because you never imagined that in a position, one person would protect another like
Right.
that. And in response to that unexpected development,
Indeed.
you reacted by proclaiming Makoto the Blackened and trying to execute him. You made the choice out of desperation, no more than that. You must have realized that Makoto, who refused to be manipulated, was a threat to you as well.
However...
But then there was also another unexpected development waiting for you. An entity that would throw a wrench, so to speak, in your precious executionary plan. Alter ego. You never imagined the possibility of a being that could come to aid even after you've killed it.
Am I wrong?
Now, here's the absolute truth. Makoto didn't kill Makuro, you did.
Listen to me.
So executing Makoto for it would surely be a violation of your rules, which I know you love so much. If the Blackened is exposed, they alone will be executed. That's what you told us, right? And that means I lose? You talk a big game. You're saying the Blackened is me and not Makoto.
Well?
And you can prove that, right?
Well,
No, we can't. Don't just say it like that. What is this? A comedy routine? To make such a bold claim without a shred of evidence.
that doesn't matter.
I don't have any right now. With a little more time, I guarantee I'll find
That's
some.
right.
Because no matter how deeply you try to bury it, there is only ever absolute truth.
Boom, boom.
And now you're trying to talk like some kind of famous detective type.
Because
If Makoto really was the killer, he never would have come to you willingly like this. He would have feared for his life, feared another execution. He would have tried to run and hide. He would have been gripped by the despair you so love to inspire.
however,
But here we are confronting you with nothing but hope in our hearts.
What the heck?
And that's supposed to be enough to convince me in the absence of evidence?
indeed.
It's not you I'm trying to convince. If you were to execute Makoto now, everyone out there watching this would be extremely displeased. Huh?
Indeed.
Imagine what everybody out there would think if you killed Makoto. They would assume that you killed him because what we said is exactly
Listen
right.
to me.
Despair can never kill hope.
Hey,
Of course, you can say we're just making this all up. You're welcome to prove us wrong. No, you have no choice but to prove it. Because if you kill Makoto without proving your own innocence, you'll be accepting your own defeat. If you want to earn our despair fair and
that's
square,
what we have to do.
then I suggest you take my advice. So what is this advice of yours?
It's true.
To do Makuro's trial over again. Only this time you follow the school regulations to ensure a fair
It's
trial.
time for one last showdown. One
What?
final battle between hope and despair. Hey,
That would make for a proper climax when you say, a fair trial, one last showdown, in other words. This would be our chance to expose the true identity of Makuro's killer, the mastermind themselves. But what reason would the mastermind have to accept the challenge? They probably just execute me without another word. Interesting.
Barrett!
Very interesting indeed. Very.
What's wrong?
Oh, I was getting bored, so I decided to change things up a little. So time for bear jokes. Now that you've suggested might be plausible, it would certainly make for one honey of a climax.
in other words,
Does that mean you accept?
You guys!
If we do things your way, that'll be enough to convince you and the viewers, right? And it would cause your unbearable despair, right? Then I'm prepared to agree to your terms. Will your hope win out, or will my despair claim victory?
I can barely contain myself!
Let's have one final grisly showdown. He agreed. Then we still have a shot at this.
Barrett!
But this is the long-awaited climax, right? Just guessing the killers barely. If
You
anything.
guys!
So for the final face-off, we'll have to unearth all the mysteries that have been buried here. All the mysteries. That's right, every last mystery that's haunting around the school. If you can do that,
I can barely contain
then
myself!
that'll be enough to qualify as a victory for you.
it's true.
That's what we've been trying to do all along. Okay, well good. Then let's bear it all. If you can claw your way through the truth of Makuro's death and solve the mystery of the school,
You guys!
then you win. But if you can't do all of that, we all face execution, right? I can barely contain my excitement. When you learn the whole truth, what kind of despair will you show me? We're all excited as you are, I'm sure.
Listen to me.
When we've uncovered every last truth, how will the ultimate despair reveal their own despair? I honestly can't believe how this has all turned out.
Hey,
But before we get started, I want to clarify one more thing. Do you remember the rule? The one student kills another, that's when the class trial is held.
What's wrong?
I remember that for sure, so what?
hey,
I just want to confirm that is what you said, right? And it's a true statement? Yes, you don't have to be so suspicious. I've said it before, but it bears repeating. Everything is based on the school regulations. I have a trial for Murkrow, no exception to that. Huh? If Yoshi's trial is no exception, then it's part of the regulations, which would have to mean that whoever killed Murkrow. It's a very polarizing approach, I know, but okay, enough puns. Anyway, here's a hint. I'm sure I've told you this already, but this killing game began with 16 participants, all of them high school students. And the only people to take a single step in Ho's Peak since the killing game began are those 16 students. What?
Listen,
You telling the truth? Why he go quiet all of a sudden?
Now I'm really angry!
I'm done talking. I got nothing to say to you. So get lost, would ya? Why so mad? He seems emotionally unstable.
Hey!
Leave me alone. Get out of here. Okay, I'm going. Really going to let me go? I don't even care anymore. You're going to get your punishment later anyway. And you start getting it ready. The super duper extra special punishment overflowing with despair.
hey,
Come on, Makoto, let's go. Okay. Damn! I hope you enjoyed today's video, and if you did, remember to hit like and subscribe. That way you can come back and see the end of this. There's still a decent amount left, but it's not too much longer. You've made it almost all the way through, so just stick with me a little longer, guys. Anyway, I hope you had a good day, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye-bye.